Okay, g'day everyone. What we're going to do in this lesson is use Adobe Illustrator to create some nice vector graphics of these objects that you would find in a night sky, like you can see on the screen. And we're going to use the shape tool and the line tool and the pathfinder option to combine and merge these shapes together to create what you see. And then what we will do is we'll upload these in a couple of different ways to a website. Okay, so the first shape that we'll create will be the cloud there. Okay, now before I start, I set up a new document as with the web preset, and I changed the width and the height to 3000 by 3000 pixels. Okay, that's the size that Wix recommends for a full screen background. So that's what we're going to create first of all after we do these shapes. So let's create the clouds. If we grab the circle tool or the ellipse tool, if you don't see it, just click and hold and you'll see it behind there. All right, and by holding shift on the keyboard, let's draw out a series of about maybe 6 circles. And before we start, let's just give it a black fill and let's just take out the stroke color there. All right, hold shift and draw a few circles of different shapes and sizes. 5 or 6 will be plenty. And then go back to the black selection tool and let's just arrange these on top of each other so they start to form a bit of a cloud shape. All right, how's that looking? I'll leave that last one out. I think that's all we need. Move that one up a bit. There we go, there's our cloud. Now what we want to do is, they're all separate shapes at the moment, so we want to combine them to make them all the one. All right, and to do that, if we select them all by dragging out a marquee like that and having them all selected, you'll notice over in our properties, you'll have the pathfinder option pop up, and click the first one here, and this is going to unite all the shapes. So now they're all, instead of being separate circles, they're all one shape. Okay, and now let's take the fill out and let's give it a stroke or an outline, and I'm just going to stick with this green color and I'm going to make it 2 points thick, okay, just so we can see it a bit better. All right, the next one we're going to make is the moon. All right, now the moon is quite easy. Let's grab the ellipse tool again and let's draw out a perfect circle by holding shift on the keyboard, about that big. We might just give it a black fill just so we can see it better. And what we'll do is we'll go back to the move tool and we're actually going to clone this by hovering above it with the move tool selected, holding option on the keyboard until you see the cursor change to a white and a black one. Click, hold and drag, and now you've just got 2 circles exactly the same. All right, and let's pop this one on top of the other one, okay, just so that you can see it's going to where it's going to cut. All right, select them both, okay, in order for the pathfinder to work, and let's minus the front from the bottom, okay, and then there we've got our moon shape. Going to take out the fill and leave the green strokes just like that. And might just select it and hover to the corner and just tilt it a little bit like that. All right, there's our moon. Now the next one we'll make is the star. Now if we go to our shapes here, we do actually have a star tool, and when I draw this out, we're going to hold shift again to draw the perfect star and leave the fill blank. Give it a stroke of 2. Let's go back to the move tool, deselect so we can see it, and again, like we did with the circle, let's clone this by holding option down until your cursor changes. Click, hold and drag, and now we've got 2 stars. And let's move this star, position it right back on top of the other one, and go and hover to the corner till your cursor changes to a straight line. And let's hold shift and option on our keyboard and left click with the mouse and drag, and that's going to make this bigger equally on all sides. Okay, so now we've got our 2 shapes like that, and they're actually separate at the moment. We want to group them together. So again, let's select them both, and down in our properties option here, let's go to group. Okay, now they are now grouped together. We can move them together. It's a bit big, so I'm just going to shrink it down a bit by grabbing the corner, holding shift to constrain the proportions. If you don't hold shift, this is what's going to happen. So shift will constrain the proportions when you're resizing in Illustrator. Okay, let's make the shooting star over here. So to make the shooting star, we're actually going to use this star. Let's make a copy of it by holding option and dragging it down. Okay, now we've got two. We'll just drag it out of the way for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the arc tool here. If you don't see it, click and hold. All right, it's behind the line tool there. All right, and with the arc tool selected, hold shift on your keyboard and just draw out a nice line like that. All right, and then what we're going to do is it should automatically have a stroke of 2, the same color. Let's zoom in with Command plus, right in, and we want this to be a dashed line. At the moment, it's just it's a full line. So to make it dashed, make sure it's selected. Click on stroke, and then activate the dashed icon here. And depending on how big your dash is, you'll probably default to about 12 or so. The dash, that just means the gap. So if you want, I think 18 works good for this. I'll press return, and then you can see we've got this dash line going on here. If you wanted the dashes closer together, for example, you might choose something like 6. All right, I'm going to keep it at that, like that size. All right, now what we'll do is we want about 4 of these. So again, let's hold the Option key to clone this 4 times. All right, now that we've got 4 of them, and now let's position them just above the star here by positioning and rotating them so they look like it's the star trail from a shooting star. Okay, so the last shape we're going to create is the planet. So let's hold Command minus and zoom out. And with this group, we're just going to move it out of the way for a minute, and let's create this one here. Now we're going to need to start. We're going to need a circle. So just grab the circle tool, hold shift, and draw out the size that the planet that you want. I'm going to move one down here a little bit. All right, and let's go back to this one again, and let's draw out another proper circle. Okay, and then we're going to need like a smaller circle in order to make a cut. All right, let's just move this other one out of the way, and let's move this in here, and I might make this probably going to have to be a little bit bigger. Command Z to undo it. I'm going to hold shift to make it a little bit bigger like that, and try to get this in the middle of the other circle there. Okay, and once it's in there and you've got this nice kind of curved shape that curves right around there, you can select them both and you can cut it like that. Okay, now let's bring our planet back and let's grab the crescent shape that we created. Go to the corner till you get the rotate option, hold shift down and click and drag it to the left, and again till it goes 90 degrees. All right, now let's zoom right in here so we can see this, and hold spacebar and click and drag, just pan around. Let's position this. Okay, we're going to need to stretch it. Okay, and then grab the bottom of it here, click, hold and drag it up, and that'll change the perspective of it so it starts to look like the rings of a planet. And again, you can see there's a little bit of overlap there, so I'm just going to stretch it back a little bit like that. There we go. Okay, there's our planet. Now we need to do one more thing to it. We're going to combine some of these shapes. So we want to use this tool here called this one here called the Shape Builder. Okay, if you don't see it, click, hold and drag. It could be hiding behind. And if you still don't see it, it may be hidden in the options. So just go to this button here, and when you go up to the hamburger here, just make sure Advanced is ticked, and that will reveal all of the tools. If Basic's ticked, only half the tools are revealed. Okay, so we need to let's hide that. We need to have our Shape Builder tool, but before we do it, we must select all of it in order for the Shape Builder tool to work. Click the Shape Builder tool, and you can see if you hover on sections, you can combine them together. It works a little bit like the Pathfinder, but a little bit different. Click, hold and drag a line, and it's going to combine that section, and we're going to need to combine that section. And there we have, there we have our planet. Now in the next what we want to do is last thing, let's group them together. Okay, and then we've got our planets. Okay, now in the next lesson, what we're going to do, we're going to use these graphics to create a couple of designs with and upload them to our a template from Wix. Okay.